For more on oil prices and the effect on fracking, joined by Carl Larry, live from Houston, oil and gas director for global consulting firm Frost and Sullivan. Good to see you again. You got a big smile. Does that mean you like the prices where they're at?
I think that I like the prices where they're at. I think the consumer likes the prices where they're at, but I think eventually they're going to go back up, and we'll deal with it when it happens. But right now, they're okay.
We have seen a number of reports from companies with this latest earnings report saying about the consequences of low oil prices mean less investment in digging for new oil or new gas. Is that a concern to you?
It is a concern, but it's something that I think the industry needs because we have to hit the reset button. We were probably overpaying and overstaffing a lot of areas in the oil and gas industry in the U.S. here. And so it's time to take a step back and reevaluate it all. I think there will be new production sometime in the next year, maybe late 2015, maybe early 2016. But, you know, we're going to have to reset all those people that we were paying, how much we were paying them, how many people we were employing, and kind of, you know, slim down and restart.
Presidents in the past, including the current president in the White House, has talked a lot about energy independence. We've made great progress, at least in the United States, but with this shift in oil prices, how does it change all that? Let's start with the fracking industry.
Well, you know, we're starting to get, when oil is profitable, when we're making money by, you know, balancing the cost of labor and production costs versus the cost that we're selling it at, you know, we're becoming very oil independent, almost to the point where we can become a major exporter of oil. But when oil prices are lower here, it becomes a little bit harder for that oil to maintain that energy security, that energy independence. But the consumers are benefiting one way or the other. Either it's from a increased GDP from oil production or a benefit for lower costs for gasoline and diesel and jet fuel when the prices are low.
We talked about this earlier in the block, and about how we have a record amount, an 80-year, in fact, record amount of inventories out there with oil. And it's hard to not think that, do we have too much oil out there?
You know, Phil, that's a very good question, and it probably leans more on the government, if anything. You know, we have this huge SPR that is filled, you know, over 700 million barrels.
Explain what the SPR is, the Strategic Oil Reserves, right?
Well, I'm sorry, yeah, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, we keep that oil, as do most countries, in case of an emergency. But the idea is that we have to have 60 days of oil in store, so just in case something bad happens that we don't produce oil or we can't get oil anymore, we have that in reserve. But right now, with the production that we have in the U.S. of 9 million barrels a day, we don't really need all that oil there. So I think the government might be the first ones to say we need to kind of reduce our supply and maybe make a little bit of money and sell a little bit out. But as far as overall supply goes, you know, we tend to make a lot here, we tend to use a lot, and maybe it's going to be another issue for the government in the new year to start exporting some of this and make more money on it.
Well, we start off the segment with all the smiles because you said that the consumers are obviously happy. I mean, I get that. The White House, if we're sitting inside the White House, pump all the oil you want, frack all you want, because that just means it's good for consumers. What is ultimately the strategy of the White House? Is it really for the consumers?
I think the ultimate strategy of the White House is not just the consumer, but it's the bigger ticket. It's the prize, you know, the prize that we're looking for. The oil companies are the ones that are making money. They're the ones that are paying the taxes. So ultimately, we want them to be paying our bills. And unfortunately, you know, right now, taxes seem high, but they could get higher. And the higher those taxes go, the more income the government makes, the more the consumer benefits, not maybe at the pump, but maybe in less taxes for the consumer. But big business is the ones that we're really going to go after. I think that at least the government's going to look to go after. So again, exports would probably be the best way, the best avenue to see that happen.
When oil prices initially fell, I'm sure you probably thought the same thing among the rest of us, was that when prices fall, we expect the oil companies who want to keep prices, I would assume, high because they can make more money, that they would pump less oil. Have we seen any evidence of that yet?
We have. We've seen oil rigs, especially in the U.S. here, go down significantly in the last couple weeks. Last week, I think we laid down 92 rigs. The week before, 87 rigs. I mean, these are really, really high numbers on a week-to-week basis. So you're starting to see a lot of these smaller producers, people that are not really making the cut with oil prices down here, to just lay down their rigs. In past times, that's a big deal because it takes a while to get those rigs back up and running and hopefully get the right production. But with non-conventional oil, with fracking, it's a big difference. You're talking about a 3 to 5 day restart, and production really comes right back where it was when it left off. So we're just kind of sitting on the sidelines right now. The problem becomes the companies that have debt and need to pay that debt that aren't getting the income that they were.
Well, we'll continue to watch these volatile oil prices. Carl, Larry, good to see you again. Thank you very much.